Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Franklin from the Money Code Academy, and on today's video I want to share with you 10 reasons why people stay unemployed. Now, if today is your first time of watching, I would like you to subscribe to this channel. Don't forget to smash the bell button so that when I post a new video, you'll be the first to receive a notification to that effect. Now, let's get right into it. Have you ever wondered why there are many out there who don't have a job? For some people, they say, oh, the reason there are no jobs is because the governments are not doing anything about it, or there are so many competition out there. That's the reason many don't have a job. But guess what? That is not completely true. It is true, but it is half truth. The real truth of this whole thing is that those who are unemployed, they have limited knowledge. And that's what I want to point out today, so that if you are watching and somehow you find yourself in such a position, you will know the right thing to do. Now, I have written out 10 things, and I would like you to stay to the end of this video so that you can get the things that I'm trying to communicate here. Now, the first point that I wrote down here is the wrong understanding of what employment is. There are people today who only believe that employment is when you are employed by a company. So they put all their focus in that direction, thinking that it is when a company employs them, that is when they have a job. But guess what? It doesn't happen that way. It doesn't have to be a company for you to be employed. You can be self-employed and be employed. You get the point now? So don't wait for someone to employ you before you know that you are employed. You can employ yourself. If a company is not willing to employ you, then you be willing to employ yourself. It's as simple as that. If you will take this initiative, I'm telling you, you will come out of unemployment in the nearest possible future. Now, the next point that I wrote down here is total dependency on employers. There are many out there. One of the reasons they don't have a job is because they are solely dependent on employers. They believe that if they are going to get a job, someone has to employ them. So they channel their strength, their focus in this direction. But unfortunately, we are living in such society where the demand for jobs is very high. The demands for job currently is way higher than the number of companies that are willing to give these jobs. So the competition has become very, very tight. Now, you don't have to wait for someone to employ you before you'll be employed. Make up your mind that you're going to do something about this. Make up your mind that if there's no company that is going to employ you, you will employ yourself. This is also like the first point. It's a little bit different because I'm trying to let you know here that you don't have to depend on an employer for you to be employed, for you to be gainfully employed. You can employ yourself. You can be your own employer if only you will look in that direction. Now, the third point that I wrote down here is not having the knowledge on how to generate cash with what they know. A lot of graduates out there, a lot of people out there who do not have a job, they are looking for someone who is going to employ them based on their certificate. This is why they've been waiting again and again. They have not learned the art of generating cash without having a job, but with their own knowledge. Now, this is something that you've got to learn. If you truly want to come out of unemployment, you've got to make a conscious decision to learn the different ways in which you can generate cash with what you know. You've got to learn a different way in which you can generate cash from the knowledge that you have acquired in your school days. That is what makes you a man or woman who will not stay in the house waiting for one employer. So you've got to understand that. The next point that I wrote down here on why people stay employed is because they have this notion that it is only through their certificate that is when they can get a job. So as long as they've not gotten a job with the certificate that they have, they believe that they are useless. But that is wrong. The fact that you could not get a job with your certificate, it doesn't stop you from getting a job with your talent. It doesn't stop you from getting a job with your potentials. It doesn't stop you from getting a job with your skills. Today, you find so many graduates out there who are very talented. They have some very wonderful skills in which they can use to generate money. But because they are not looking in that direction, they are looking in the direction of getting a job with their certificate. They don't make any efforts in this other area of using their skills. They just want to get a job with their certificate. It doesn't happen that way. If you're going to come out of unemployment, you've got to make a conscious decision to look in other direction. If you couldn't get a job with your certificate, why don't you try your skills? Why don't you try your talent? Why don't you try other potentials that you have within you that you can use to generate money? But this is one of the reasons there are many people in the house today. They've got this talent. They've got this potential. But yet they are broke. You know why? Because no one has employed them. And for that reason, some have stayed a year, 2 years, and nothing seems to be happening. But it doesn't have to be that way. So I want you to take a cue from this because it will go a long way to help you. Now, the next point, the next reason why many stay unemployed is because they are not willing to learn new skills or upgrade their skills in whatever field that they found themselves. Now, this is so important because I've seen a lot of people, they are not willing to learn. They just believe that I've gone to the university, I've gone to college, and whatever I have now, it is sufficient for me. But the truth is, a lot of times, whatever it is that you've studied from college, you might not immediately have that opening at the moment. Don't get stuck with that. If you haven't gotten a job in that particular field where you studied, then you should look for a way to upgrade your skills. See, let me tell you something. The world is changing very fast. There are a lot of job opportunities right now that are advanced. For example, 10 years ago, there was no such thing as the position of a data scientist. 20 years ago, people, they were filling out their CV, applying for job positions like a typist, a receptionist. But today, you discover that the world has changed. Nobody's looking for a typist any longer. You get that now? People are looking for something much more better. So imagine you are having the knowledge or the skill of a typist, and you are expecting to get a job in this time when even a typewriter is no longer in vogue. What do you think is going to happen? This is one of the reasons there are many people who are without a job today. Many are stuck with old skills and they are not willing to learn new skills. There are people today who are into marketing. They are stuck with the old skills of the traditional ways of doing marketing. And then they are looking for a job in the marketing field. But that is not what is on ground now. That is not what is in vogue now. What is in vogue now is digital marketing. Now, it is expected that a man who wants to truly get a job, he has to move from the knowledge of the traditional marketing to the knowledge of the digital marketing, which means that man has to upgrade his skill. He has to learn something new. Until and unless this is done, such a person may not get a job. There are so many job descriptions today that you discover that it wasn't there years ago. For example, you will see something like a social media manager. 10 years ago, there was no such thing. Now, imagine someone who is looking for the position of a manager and he has searched everywhere, he couldn't get anyone. Meanwhile, there are many companies who are looking for social media manager. So such a person has to upgrade his or her skill to be able to fit into that particular position. You get the point now. So that's something that needs to be worked on. As long as people are not willing to learn new skills, to upgrade their skills, then the chances are there that they will continue to sit down in the house without a job. And the next point that I wrote down here is not willing to solve a problem. See, as long as a man is not willing to solve a problem, then he will stay unemployed. Let me tell you something. When people bring out their CV and they start sending to different companies, they are saying that I can fix a particular problem for you. Now, in a situation whereby the companies you are sending your CVs to, they don't have any problem for you to fix, what happens? You're going to stay unemployed. So the right thing to do is to look for individuals, not companies now. If you want to get a job, begin to look for individuals who have problems that you can solve. Because see, one of the rules of cash generation is that you must solve a problem. And guess what? There is no time that is better than this to make money than what we are now. Let me explain what I'm trying to talk about here. We are living in such times, in such troubled times, where there are so many problems in the world. And this is the best time to make money like never before. Because money goes to a place where problems are being solved. So as long as you are not solving the problem of any company or of anybody, you are going to stay unemployed. So it is important that you look into this and look for problems that you can solve. It could be the problem of students, it could be the problem of teenagers, it could be the problem of an individual. Whatever problem you can solve, make a conscious decision that you're going to be able to solve a problem. That is how money flows. If you can do this, you will discover a purpose, and not only that, you will end up earning as well. So that's something that you need to work on if you truly want to get a job. The next point that I wrote down here is not willing to switch careers. There are people today who are not willing. They are not willing to switch careers. They just believe that this is what I've studied in my university and this is the path that I want to follow. Don't be that way. As long as you are not willing to switch careers, as long as you are not willing to venture into new things, then you're going to stay unemployed. So you've got to be flexible in this area. Don't stay stuck. There are times when the things that you have studied, maybe there are no job openings at that moment. For example, someone who went to the university and studied maybe a course on tourism. Such positions are very few. Such positions are less in the labor market today. Now, when you find yourself in such situation, what do you do? Are you going to stay stuck to that? Looking for a company? Now, amazingly, this is one of the reasons many people are sitting down in the house. They prefer to stay stuck and they keep hunting from one company to another, looking for a position that will fit in their field, when they can actually do something else and earn even better. So you must be willing to switch careers. The next point that I jotted down here is channeling efforts in the wrong direction. A situation whereby you're not getting a job, what do you do? Are you going to keep pushing in that direction? If you're not getting a job, why don't you channel your efforts into the area of starting a business or something? Don't get stuck with this. Don't channel your strength in the wrong direction. This is one of the reasons there are many people today who are sitting down in the house. The time that they will use to come up with an idea that they will sell to the world, they use that time to be sending CVs and looking for a company that will employ them. The time that they will use to sit down and look for a problem that they can solve, they use that time jumping from one company to another, looking for a job. So as long as they will keep channeling their efforts in the wrong direction, then nothing tangible is going to happen in their career. So that's something that needs to be done. The last point that I wrote down here is investing time in the wrong direction, which is also like the last one that I spoke about. Recently I went to a particular supermarket, and while I was coming back, I saw this young man who was just seated on the pavement. He was so tired. He was carrying a file with CV. He was so tired. He was so frustrated. He was so, come on, he was dejected. I wanted to speak to him that day, but I just didn't want to poke into the matter. But you could see that he was coming back from a job interview and he has been disappointed. Now, there are many folks out there that are like this, going through this kind of thing. The time that they will use to craft or create a product that they can sell, or to research a product that they can sell, they spend that time hunting for a job, hunting for a job, hunting for a job. It shouldn't be that way. So I want to encourage you to learn from these things. Take the initiative. If you're listening to me right now, you don't have a job, make a conscious decision that you're going to take the initiative. Don't wait for you to be employed before you will be employed. If a company is not giving you a job yet, do something about it and get yourself a job. Get yourself a business. Don't wait. Be your own employer. Remember, you have all that it takes for you to generate cash. If you will abide to these things that I shared with you now, it will go a long way to help you. Now, that's all for today's video. I want to believe that you've gotten value from this video. I want to encourage you to share this video with your friends and family. Give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you have not done so. Until I speak to you again, keep cracking the money code.